Today I'm reviewing the Xbox Core controller, but the used version. I bought it a year ago at Gamestop, not Ebagmes again in Canada. Now, no one in their right mind would see like GameStop used controller and think, what a great buy. But when you have a YouTube channel, you see things differently. And I was curious, like, you have 14 days to return the controller. Would I get a broken one with stick drift? Or I would get an okay one. I mean, clearly, a year later, things are still fine. Now, I do think that it's kind of stupid to buy just the core controller and not put paddles on it. So, of course, I got a pair of cheap paddles. Now, I'm familiar with the controller because, like, we had the same problem with my ex-partner. She would play Destiny as a casual player, and she would go through so many controllers through the years. At one point, we had 4 controllers, and only one was mine, and I told her like, you cannot play Destiny with that controller because I would play RPG with it. The issue was always the same. In Destiny, to run, you need to push down the left stick. So after a year of doing that, of course, you would have stick drift and errors. So we would buy new controllers. So eventually, for her birthday, I bought her one of the core controller and got paddles for them. And then I configured the controllers to basically use one paddle to run. And it solved the problems 3 years later, and her controller is still fine. But I was curious, like, what would happen if I get a used one when I saw it at GameStop and paid maybe $70 for it? Nah, it was interesting because I was playing Shredder Revenge with 3 friends, and after that we decided to play Mortal Kombat 11 and Soul Calibur 6. And we would rotate the controller doing 1 versus 1, and then my 3 friends were like, oh, the build quality feels so nicer than the regular Xbox controller because we all have an Xbox controller to play PC games. Now, I know on Reddit that people still complain about the build quality of those controllers, so clearly it's uneven, and if you're a heavy user, you could have issues. But it's not my case because I have Game Pass, I have a ROG a PS5, and other console. So I would only play like some Starfield, and I start Clair Obscur 33. So for me, it's not, I'm not, even with Game Pass, I'm not a heavy user. So I don't necessarily think that you will have the same issue that like heavy user playing, I don't know, 5 hours a night of like FPS would see the same issues. I also like that, like, yes, you can put the paddles, but for the joystick, you can have like a short travel distance or super like see here it's super short, and here it's super long. So you can adjust it here to have like the kind of traveling distance that you want on your joystick.
Let's do a quick unboxing first. You can see it's the Elite Series 2 core controller. It was a price of $90 Canadian, but I think I had like $20 of leftover GameStop gift card. I totally forgot about it. You see here that you get 1 controller, 1 D-pad, the 2 joystick, a USB cable, and a tool for the D-pad. For some reason, it's the Spanish on the box here. I would have preferred the blue or red controllers, but it's only the white one they have, and it's really rare to see the core controller on sale. Normally, the controllers sell for $160. You can see the content of the box here. So you have the 2 joystick top, the tool for the joystick, a very long braided USB cable, and the D-pad tool cover. You can see here the controller without the D-pad cover or the joystick cover. And you can see the controller with nothing plug at the back. You have the switch if you want long travel time, medium travel time, or short travel time for the triggers, which I really appreciate. Though in general, I'll leave it on default like any other Xbox controller. You can see here a top view of the triggers with the button to synchronize the controller and the USB-C charging port. You get 40 hours of battery life, and I appreciate that. Like, it was great with the Switch Pro controller to maybe charge the controller 2 times while playing Breath of the Wild. You can see here a view under the controller where you have a microphone plug or a headset plug, depending on what you want to use. Like I see here, order for $10, cheap pedals on the web. You can see that you can have here a regular D-pad or the new standard D-pad that they sell on the Elite controller. And like I said, it made no sense to me to not put paddle on this controller. So for $10, you can get cheap generic one, and it's what I did here. I wanted a blue and white color scheme. You can see here in Destiny 2 that I map the paddle to be able to run without using the left-right stick, and it worked pretty well.
So, what do you think? I think of buying a used controller at GameStop. Well, like I said, I only pay like I had some credit left, so I only paid like $70 for it. And the first thing I did when I got home was to load Destiny and Starfield and see if I could detect any stick movement. When it was not the case that I didn't have drifting, I also checked in the Xbox configuration tutorial to make sure that the joystick was fully aligned and I could calibrate the controller. And everything was fine. I could see a little scuff mark on the white part, but like everything worked fine. And a year later, it still worked. So I think in the end, it was a good buy because I like having the long battery life, not changing double A batteries. I like having the control on the triggers, and I feel like a more premium controller than the regular Xbox controller. But the issue is that your mileage will vary depending of like how GameStop check their used controller and depending of the store. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend someone to do that. But a year later, and my controller still worked fine. So for me, it was a good buy. Thanks for watching.